Hey, what is up, Phil? Happy
Hey,
first Happy first
are
Friday
we
of the month,
live?
my brother. We are live.
Yeah. I still got a pulse.
Yep, me too.
Checking.
Me too.
Yeah. Although these days you just can't. You do this, then you pull your phone out and you look at your phone. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All the info on health is on the phone. That way, it's actively reported to our Chinese overlord. So, what kind of health signal do I need to send to China in order to get them over here so we can shoot them in the dick?
Well, that's a
Like, what's the
great
plan
question.
for that?
That's a great question. I don't
I
know.
need to
I don't know.
download some TikToking, do some
Some,
TikToking. Will that get
some
them here?
maybe.
Because
I've
we
been
should hurry this up.
contemplating.
I'm like, I
I've been I've been contemplating
got stuff
starting
I want to
TikTok.
do. Yeah, I actually I did it for a while. We had a sacrificial phone, and we
You
got
did.
some good traction for one of our business.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun. Yeah, it was amazing to realize just how it bogged down the phone constantly, even when the app wasn't running. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
absolutely bloatware, spyware. That was evident years ago. Years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I think they just made it run smoother
yeah,
so
screw
that
you
it's less
guys.
apparent.
Yeah, that could be. That could be. We don't have a lot of room to speak because this is spyware
Oh,
by our own country. I mean,
100%.
the
Yep.
NSA has been using it against us since the smartphone came out.
Absolutely.
So screw you guys
Absolutely.
also.
Screw them as well, for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm just sharing our
yeah.
broadcast over to Facebook right now. We are no
I
longer able to
got a
stream on
YouTube
multiple
notification.
platforms.
Oh, well, Meta's not worth investing anything into anyway. So screw those
Exactly.
guys.
Exactly. No, I'm with you
Twitter's the
100%.
place. Rumble. I'm on Rumble, and we've got 3 different channels that are live on Rumble.
Yep.
I don't think we've got Pastor over there, right? You haven't
No,
gotten us on the Rumble yet,
we
have you?
we almost have a locals a locals channel set up, which will then automatically kind of pop us onto Rumble. So, but I had some trouble with Stripe, so I'm just getting some of those things squared away. So we will be over there shortly.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only one that had trouble with Stripe this week. Mike from Fieldcraft Survival got the big yankum from Stripe and said, "You are bad content, and we're closing your account. You have 1 week." So,
But they at least let him have his funds, as opposed to the last time that happened to him when he got ripped.
well, they're not
They,
stealing his money, but he didn't even get a 30-day notice to come up with another solution for merchant services, and I mean that stuff does not happen quickly or instantly, and quite honestly, if Locals is perpetuating themselves along with Rumble as the place that is a free speech platform and the place for conservatives in the 2A community to be, well, then they either need to whip Stripe into shape or find somebody else
agreed.
because that's unacceptable. So
Absolutely.
I have
That
several Stripe
sucks.
accounts. I was having a lot of fun on Twitter messing with them because Stripe actually got onto the feed there on Twitter where they were being talk crap, and they're like, "Oh, if you're having trouble with our app, feel free to reach out to us." And the whole world let them have it. So, including myself, because I think I actually have 3. I said I had 2 merchant accounts with them, but I think I actually have 3. I've just one's very dormant.
Right,
So
right.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was big news in the 2A community this week. Was given Stripe, who claimed that they would never do what PayPal did, is doing what PayPal did,
Right,
and
right.
Patreon backpedaling this week. So we're not using Patreon anymore, but they
No.
would no longer categorize us as our content would no longer be categorized as pornography. So I guess
Oh,
they got enough feedback,
well, too
which
late,
would
too
make
short for
you
us.
would have to recreate anyway. So once you're categorized there, you can't really uncategorize.
That's true.
So,
That's true. Yeah,
but
no.
anyway,
So,
yeah. So we'll be headed over to Locals hopefully soon. That's good.
yeah, that'll
I
be
don't know if we get
very
more
soon.
content
Very,
there or
very
not.
soon. Yep. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
excited. I'm excited. I also launched a new brand today. Some friends and I are a big portion of my prepping, as we've talked about on the show a lot, is fitness and weight loss and things like that. And so we launched a Instagram, YouTube channel for the Gozarks. And we're going to be doing cycling and floating and kind of fitness stuff around the Southwest Missouri and Northwest Arkansas. Maybe do a little bit of rappelling and rock climbing this
What's
summer.
floating? Spy balloon, spy balloon floating. What are you talking about?
Well,
How is floating a
we were
fitness thing?
thinking about spy
Movement.
balloon floating, but we decided to float on rivers instead.
I have now, maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I've floated a lot of rivers. It's always involved like a 6 pack of beer, a bunch of old inner tubes, and sunburns.
That
So
sounds
how do you
great.
lose weight doing that?
That sounds great. That
I don't
sounds great.
know.
You do
I
all of
did that
that
a lot
except
growing
for
up.
the beer.
Like
You do
every
all of
one
that
of
except
my
right.
cousins and except for the beer.
I'm hanging
Oh,
out with
okay, yeah.
I'm hanging out
Most of
with
us have at
Baptists.
least
They
one
don't drink.
story of nearly dying.
I hang out with
Oh,
Baptists.
yes,
They
they
don't
do. They
drink.
just lie about it.
No, not these
They
guys.
do. They just lie. Oh man,
So
Baptists
no,
got nothing to lose this
I was
week.
telling you before the show, I went out and did 10 miles yesterday and got caught in a Midwest thunderstorm and just that, I mean, lightning and thunder all the way around. Had about 3 miles of very moist bicycling. But you know what? It's good. It's good for you. It's good to shock the body
Mm.
once in a while. It's good to get out there and do some physical exertion. It's good to just get the blood pumping and um, yeah. So anyway, my glasses were super fogged up. I couldn't see jack diddly crap. It was a good time. So, but get out there, move your body, get ready. I mean, it's gonna be really, really hard to go full Wolverines and fight the paratroopers if you never get up and you never go for a walk once in a while.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, if you've never put a kit on, and you spend a lot of money on fancy kit, and it does I don't care how much money you spend, it's not going to be less than 50 to 60 pounds. And so, if you can't put 60 plus pounds on and like move with a quickness, um, as my new friend says, you're just going to be a loot drop for everybody else.
You started saying that last week. I love it, man. I've quoted you like twice.
Man, it's pretty damn funny. And I don't know where that originated from, but we've got a local MMA instructor around here, and he says it quite a bit. It's pretty damn funny.
I think it's a video game reference, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Loot
Yeah,
drop is a
loot
video
drop
game reference.
for sure. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right. All right. So,
yeah.
what's happening in the world around us, man? Like, we both watched some updates this week. There's some interesting headlines. There's some conservative pastor or not pastors, some conservative politicians getting iced and disappeared out east. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. In fact, even right now, if you look at my phone, they want us all looking at a dumb media trial, a dumb murder trial, right? Instead of actually paying attention to the
That
fact
was
that they're,
yesterday's news.
yeah, he got
Huh?
sentenced
Yeah.
today. So
Oh, that's
I don't
quick.
even, I don't even care. Oh yeah, they went with the quickness with this guy. There's no question about that. They wanted him done like.
I have absolutely no idea to even talk about. I barely even know what you're talking about.
I've
Some guy
watched.
supposedly, well, now he's been guilty. We don't have to say allegedly or supposedly anymore. Some guy killed his wife and son, according to
Right.
the courts.
Well,
Um,
I
but
know nothing.
other than that, why was that news?
I know nothing
Don't more
other than
people
the
die
fact
in Chicago every weekend?
that the headlines are inundating me. Like all I hear is stuff about that. That's all I know about it. I
Uh,
haven't watched a single thing about it other than a YouTube video auto popped on me today where he was proclaiming his innocence
well, YouTube is feeding.
at his sentencing. He was like, "I'm innocent," and the judge was like, it might have been someone else. It might have been the person you become when you take 60 opioids. is what
Oh, wow.
is what
Not
is
your
what the
dad
judge
is.
said.
Well,
Might have been
yeah.
someone else. It might have been the person you become. I was like, whoa, judge. In the words of that Viking on
Wow. Well,
Instagram, hammer.
I don't know that one either. Yeah, I if it's a Facebook product, I'm just not there. So,
Yeah, no, I understand.
but Twitter is all the rage. I have a ton of fun on Twitter.
Sure.
Twitter's a great place to be these days. The
Right on.
president gets fact checked constantly.
That's
I
good.
love it.
That's good.
Democrats crash and burn very publicly.
Twi-
And in almost no other place can you just directly interact with cool people like Dean Cain. You remember Superman?
Dude, I love
Dean
Dean
Cain
Cain.
as Superman.
Yeah.
He is all over there. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I was just talking with him here the other day, and it's like, whoa, I'm talking to freaking Superman. How cool is that?
He
It's
is a
really cool.
big,
Very
he's a
personal.
big
He's
supporter of a,
interacted and
he's a big
Christian.
he's a big supporter of a channel that I pay a lot of attention to that's local to me within a little ways of who I am of where I am called An American Homestead. If you want some really good
Mm,
homestead news, prepper stuff, American Homestead. He's a combat veteran. I believe he was a Marine, and his wife passed away a couple years ago. He's been through
might be.
some really hard stuff. But he's a phenomenal farmer, gardener, hunter. A lot of stuff about solar. Really good channel. If you're looking for prepper advice, if you're looking for good news, he gets pretty inflammatory. He's really good at shaking the tree. But Dean Kane's been on his channel a
Well,
few
if he's
times.
still on YouTube,
Well,
cool. That's awesome.
he's got a Rumble channel. He's on locals, but he does put it on. He does put his show on YouTube until they throw him off. He's
Yeah, we're kind of doing that with our stuff too.
Yeah, that's exactly. We're
We're
just
both
waiting for
places.
you to say
I mean,
something. And
more and more. There'll be less and less coverage on those things. And yeah, I mean, speaking of pissing off YouTube, it's a good time to pull out some pews and make sure we, by the way, this is a handmade drilled no serial number firearm that I'm inserting a large capacity magazine into.
nice, good for you. I would call it a
There you go.
standard capacity magazine.
Oh, would you?
Yeah.
It holds more than the standard Glock rounds.
It would hold even more if it was 9 millimeter.
Yeah, but it still wouldn't be enough.
That's
Sorry,
that
Blue
is.
Force Gear is having a sale, and you must text me about it right now. Get your trauma kit on Blue Force Gear on sale right now. There you go.
I would say get your trauma kit from Refuge Medical.
Um, there's nothing wrong with Refuge Medical.
No,
And I think they make a quality kit, and I got some stuff from them recently, and I really like their customer service. Their prices are okay. They're not better than anybody else,
no,
but you're getting quality stuff too. It's not
yeah,
Chinese ripoff stuff. But the same with Blue Force Gear. You're getting quality. Well, actually, Blue Force Gear has a Chinese option. So
yeah,
they'll let you can choose the cheap option to put cheap shit in there from China, or
mhm.
you can choose pro or intermediate bundles where you get real gear. It's
See,
up
I
to you.
thought they put the
And Blue
same gear in either one. It was whether you got the cheap container or not.
all the way around.
Oh, okay.
The container's the same. So maybe with Refuge that might be the case. I don't
No, I
know
don't think
how
you can
they.
get.
I
I don't
never
think you can
bought it,
get cheap gear at all from Refuge. They only do the top stuff.
and that would make sense. So, but either way, so those are good sources. Better than My Medic, which My Medic is not a bad option, but
No, I've bought
I
stuff.
agree. Go to Refuge is good, Blue Force Gear is good, and gosh, there's another one I just got the other day that's pretty good. Is it Recon something or
Mm.
oh, they
I'll
had a
say this about
sale
My
actually
Medic.
just last.
I'll say this about My Medic. My Medic runs really good holiday sales. So anytime you're
Yeah,
around a holiday, you can stock up on like consumables and stuff for a pretty good price. I bought my mom and my stepdad a really nice kind of all encompassing kit. Um, kind of everything but an IFAC, right? So like traveling meds and wound care and diagnosis stuff, those kinds of things. And then we added some tourniquet things and stuff like that, to kind of turn it into a little bit more comprehensive, sort of a family kit. And so it was, we got a really, really, really great price on it. Plus, we got some extra free gear. So like I got like a cycling kit for my cycling bag. When I wear a backpack with a water bladder and snacks and things like that. And so now I've got a really kind of comprehensive cycling gear to deal with road rash and that stuff. And I think I got that
You
for
need
next to
to
free.
tailor your stuff. That's the thing. You need to tailor your kit to your situation,
Absolutely.
and don't be afraid to mix and match. I got some stuff last night from Rhino Rescue, but now I'm scrolling through their other stuff and going, they do offer some cheap Chinese shit too. But I got the little kit that I bought from them was basically an IFAC resupply, and so what I consider a minimum for an IFAC is a nasal pharyngeal airway, right?
Yes.
2 chest seals.
Yes.
One needs to be auto burping, right?
Right.
A tourniquet, and I'll wrap that up and say, depending on your situation, 2 tourniquets, an Israeli compression bandage, and some sort of Z-Pack gauze.
Yes.
And I think 2 is better than 1 there. You do
Yes.
need trauma shears.
Yes.
That is a bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And then some sort of a clotting agent would be my other one that I would say. And then you could stop there.
Yeah,
You could stop there.
you could.
And that'll fit into a very small kit. And so I noticed that they had all name brand, cat tourniquet, Israeli branded bandage, not just
Yes.
Israeli type.
Right.
I think it was hyphen deals. Like they were all name branded stuff, and I went, oh, that's a good deal for that kit. So I grabbed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, about $50. It's not going to be cheaper than $50 to get
Yeah.
that little kit put together. Most of the time, you'll be closer to 100 if you're buying name brand quality stuff and getting a little
Yep.
pouch.
Yep.
But if you're under 100, you're not getting ripped off. If you're under 50, you should be suspicious.
Correct. Correct.
So
No, I
then
totally,
you
I
should have
totally
one of
agree.
those within arm reach if you're shooting and just about any time.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to grab them because I'll throw. There should be one in every vehicle. One in your office, one in your house, one in your shoot range bag, one in your go
Yep.
bag, just everywhere.
I
Should have
totally
them
agree.
everywhere. And then you need boo boo,
Yeah.
which are your cheap Chinesium band-aids.
Sure.
So you don't have
Maybe
to rip open your sealed good kits.
Right. Right. I had a my wilderness EMT instructor professor guy years ago. He had a kit,
Mhm.
and he had it all in layers. Okay, so he had it in a bag, and he had knee pads attached to the top of his bag, um, and uh,
Mhm.
uh, and between the knee pads and the main body of his jump bag. We used to call them jump bags before we called them IFACs and stuff like that, because IFAC's individual first aid kit. Jump bag is more for providing aid to other people. So if you're in a wilderness
Jump
EMT,
bags, which you're grabbing to go on the run. Yeah, yeah,
there you
yeah.
go, there you go. And so
It's not a full kit. It's a partial stop the bleed, right? It's
yeah,
your basics.
it's most of a full EMT kit, I would say, minus like an oxygen bottle and a few of those things, which actually is now more of an option now than it
Which
ever was
some of them
before.
have. Yeah,
But
yeah. They
but
have better options
but I
now.
will say, but I'll say this: he had a notepad. There's a special Right in the Rain notepad that was between his knee pads and his bag. Okay, and he was
Just got
teaching
some
us to
extra
be
photos. Let
he
me
was
see if I
teaching
can
us to
find it.
be EMTs, not just like a standalone rescuer, right? We were working for departments, serving departments, things like that. And he's like, if I have to put my knee pads on, I have to take notes. Is what was the rule, right? So like his rule
Yep.
was, if I have to if I have to put the knee pads on, then the situation is bad enough that I need to be taking, soap notes, subjective, objective, application, and plan. And like you're taking notes so that you can hand them off to definitive care better. So I say
Right.
all of
Which is
that.
why that rider pad rips out. And
Yep.
I'm going to have one here in a second. I'm just so I keep one in the outer window on the outside of my med bag as well,
There you go.
and I'll grab it so we can show it on the air.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful. So I say
Right here.
all of that because if I like to have two separate bags. I like to have a boo boo bag that's attached to and I mean, I wish I'd have brought one in from the truck, but if I had a, I like to have a boo boo bag that's attached to an IFAC, right? And if I don't have to open the
Gonna rip away.
IFAC, if I don't have to open the IFAC, then I won't because I want everything in there to stay as sterile as I can, right? I want, everything in there. So I've got some gloves in
Right.
the boo boo bag, because I might not want to be dealing with somebody else's blood, but it's still just to clean up a skint knee and throw a little antiseptic on it, wash it good, and stick a band-aid on it. You don't need to tourniquet that,
Yeah.
right? So if I open the IFAC, that shit's going sideways.
Well, yeah, my IFAC's for me.
Well, I have one that I do. I usually carry multiples. You know me in the medical world, and so I do have one that's mine. There you go.
Okay, Vital Statistics EMS is made by Ride and Rain. These are
Mm.
pretty affordable. I don't remember how much they cost.
Less than $10.
And
Less than 10
I'll
bucks.
just yeah, a couple bucks. Let's see. So on one side, we have basics. Let's see, date, meds, dosage, time, location, address, some blank spots.
Yep.
And then on the other side, we've got age, sex, date of birth, contact information, allergies, meds, and then spot to put whatever med you've administered. And then there's a couple slots for vitals and
Right.
blood pressure, heart rate, blood ox, and so here's that side. Are we
Yep.
focusing enough? Can you see
Yep. Oh
this?
yeah, it looks great.
And the
Looks
cool
great.
thing, if you're not familiar with Ride and Rain, you can be using these in a downpour.
Sure.
They're not 100% waterproof, but they are 90% waterproof, maybe.
Correct.
So you have to use a special pen. Mechanical pencils work pretty good, and I think
Yep.
most people go with a really thick lead mechanical pencil. But the other way to go is the Fisher Space Pens.
Right.
Of course, I like to use something like this. Sharpies will usually work on there too.
Sure.
So I carry a Sharpie, or I have one of these, a tactical pen with a pressurized medium tip ballpoint, which
Yeah.
is what it takes. And then the good thing about this one from Uzi is it's got a glass breaker and a handcuff key. So you never know when you're going to need another handcuff key.
Yeah.
It's good to
I
keep
like
those around.
I like to
Flop.
take I like to take the Ride in the Rain brand pen and I like to pull the guts out and put it into my tactical pen.
Something else, because they're like this big.
Right.
So the Ride and Rain guts are Fisher Space, pressurized
Yes.
Fisher Space pens.
Right.
So you can just buy those refills.
Correct.
But yeah, no, this is a good. I'm glad you brought that up. So, and then there's useful information on here about like pupil sizes and your Glasgow coma scales. What else
Hmm.
is on here? Some basic measurement, centimeters, because most of us get that one wrong.
Right.
Rapid triage. Yeah, that's good information. I don't think I ever looked at this.
Yeah.
Rapid triage rules.
Yeah. Rapid tree. Do they do the
I
color
know
code? Do they do the color code? Red, yellow,
Yep,
black?
color code, yellow, green, black.
Yellow, green,
Yep.
yellow, green, black. Okay.
Although everybody knows that red lipstick is no care needed. You're fucked.
No care needed, man. You're going to see Jesus. The only care you need is somebody to
Somebody's
quick
gonna
talk to
hold
you
your
about the
hand.
Lord and Savior.
There you go. There you go.
Yep.
And unless you got a hat that says AFT on it, in which case I'll probably just pee on you.
Well, maybe I'll let somebody
We
else
said that
say
the
King
other day.
Jesus.
Was it? We had a near incident road rage out here, and we talked about the best way to handle that. And I think what we, as a consensus, settled on is that you should pepper ball them with ghost pepper balls, and then pee on them to establish dominance.
I like it.
Because I mean, that's what our dogs do. So
I
that's
like
my
it.
new play. Look you in the eye, shoot you with a pepper ball, and pee on you.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I think next
Compares.
week there's a new canine friend coming to live at the homestead. Free State's getting another guardian
Cool.
dog. I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've got one rounding up pretty nicely. He had a really good day today.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, mine will not be quite as high speed as yours, but he will do a good job of keeping the predators away from the chickens. So
It takes all kinds, and the thing about protection dogs is they really work better in pairs.
they do, and
Whether
that's
it's
why.
against bears or you need you need them to work in pairs.
Correct.
So, because I don't want to be the second pair. I'm I'm going to stand
Well,
back,
let me give you an
let them do
example.
the
It's
work.
interesting. It's interesting that you bring that up because we had a situation last night. So
Okay,
we have our dumb Brittany. She's asleep on the chair over there, and she's very loving and
and
wonderful, and
she's an alert.
she's an alert dog for sure, and she's a great bird hunter too. If if we
Okay,
got to go catch birds or squirrels or something, she's going to do a good job of that. But we
she runs
also
hot, so like in emergency, and she'll keep you alive.
oh for sure yeah 100%. But
Yeah, a lot of use.
we also have a livestock guardian dog. Now understand internet land. I'm not saying their names for a reason. You should not know my dog's names. And so anyway, my wife, the pretty blonde lady, she wakes me up at about 4 o'clock this morning, and she's like, "There's something wrong with the GP. The we'll call her the Jedi." And I was like, okay. So I woke up, and and I kind of brought myself to attention, at four o'clock in the morning. Actually, I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And so I listened, and the dog was like crying, not barking, crying. Um, and so I was getting ready to go outside, and Amy's like, "I've already been out there." Amy like kidded up and went out. Didn't wake me up. I thought that was really funny. Anyway, but and so she went out and checked on the dog. Well, it was raining buckets. I mean buckets. We got probably 5 to 6 inches. We had flash flooding. We had all kinds of stuff going on. Well, her whole area was flooded, and and the pretty blonde lady was concerned that she had no dry space to be, and that she was like
Mm.
getting upset that she was cold. And I mean, and livestock guardian dogs don't really get cold like we think of getting cold, but when they get wet they can get cold. Well,
Sure.
she's still very young. She's less than a year old. And what I really think happened was is she got wet because she forgot that she could come inside. She has an indoor area, and the indoor area was wet, but she has an elevated platform that she can be
But her
on,
animals weren't in there.
but
Yeah.
that's not where her animals were. And so, but it was raining buckets. It was awful. And so, so needless to say, I did all the checking on her, and like her food's all jacked up, and so we got her all squared away. But there you go. It's a, it takes different kinds. They all have different jobs. And that is her job, is to protect the
Dogs are
animals.
not SU. Dogs don't do the SUV role very well.
No.
They're all sports cars in their own way.
Hmm. They are.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
So,
So
yeah, dogs. Dogs are going to go because dog. There is a way to get a dog that is instantly effective in just about whatever you need it to be. But if you don't have a spare $100,000 laying around, chances are, no matter what your need is, that you're not going to get one instantly effective. You're going to have to
correct,
do some training yourself,
correct,
or a process.
correct.
And I don't know if you've ever tried to train a child or not before, but it is easier than that. So it takes time, um, and it's not instant. So
Right.
especially if you're going to get into bite work or any sort of dual purpose, like single purpose dogs are a lot easier to train. But if
Agreed.
you consider like a protective purpose and a family purpose, those are two different purposes, and they can sort of mix together
Right.
sometimes depending on the dog and the
Right.
amount of protective you're asking.
Right.
But to then ask another, so a lot of people in the high speed dog world like to get into search and rescue work. with them, which is another purpose now.
We have a long-term
And a lot of like,
Patreon supporter.
uh,
Well, when we were doing Patreon, long-term supporter, and
right.
she does that. She does a lot of search and rescue. She does more search and recovery. I think more cadaver stuff, but they do go out on rescues and stuff.
I
So
would probably rather do that than the rescue. The rescue is heart wrenching. Like it's hard to recover bodies, but it's not the same as trying to recover people while they're still alive.
agreed, agreed.
So
Yeah,
at least you know what you're in for with the body thing.
it's true. It's true. When we lived off the Columbia River in northern Oregon, there was a lot of body recovery, and as a law enforcement officer, I would do a lot of debriefing and diffusings for both rescuers and officers and EMS workers that had to recover bodies. We had multiple drownings a year. When you live on a big river like that, like that's just all there is to it. You're gonna have
Yeah, it's
drownings.
Swift River. Swift water. We're there too. Kenai River is a very swift river, unforgiving and very cold, glacial. So
Yes, yes,
similar.
100%, 100%. So,
Yeah. Although I
yeah.
don't know, maybe we're not as concerned when the tourists disappeared around here as you guys were down there. We just
Well,
kind of like, well, they're gone.
take one, another, another one bites the dust.
Oh well. So yeah, so um big prep sort of thing happened last week. I don't think we've had an episode since the disaster in Ohio.
We did have an episode last week, and we did
Oh,
start talking about Ohio. But I'll tell you what, man.
oh, dude.
Yeah, it has gotten worse. In the context of, I don't know if you've seen some of the reporting now that the media has absolutely been caught red sticky handed, disseminating rail propaganda. So they have actively been squashing information for the rail company and the Biden administration. They all got slapped on the hand in the last couple of days, which I mean, mainstream media, and I don't care what
I
flavor
know
you like.
Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube have been removing content that was truthful,
Yeah,
as opposed to Rumble and Twitter and other places
yeah.
that are letting it ride. So, yeah, I knew something was going on. I did see an interesting theory the other day that it was a purposeful get rid of the Amish. So, do you happen to? You're more familiar with the area than I am. Did it happen right near Amish territory?
Oh yes, oh yes. It's very very close to the
That's what went
Pennsylvania
through?
border. Very very close to the Pennsylvania
Oh,
Dutch border. Yeah, yeah. They
oh,
got a
that
lot
was
of
the first
Amish
I
out
had
there.
heard of that.
Yes,
And I mean, we know that our government has been harassing and attacking those communities pretty hard over the last 2 years.
relentlessly. Yes,
Just
yes,
going
yes.
after. They're very self-sufficient.
They are.
So,
Yep, they
and
are.
they're not
They're
armed and militant, at least not like not like Mormons.
No, no, not really. Yeah, in fact, a lot of the communities, not all of them. I've recently learned that I kind of thought they were all the same, but evidently there are
Oh no,
degrees, and they're quite
yeah,
different.
and then well,
And
especially when you consider Mennonites. Yeah,
right, right, and so they are very different. So some of them are well armed, and some of them are not. Most of them, I think, would publicly claim to be pacifists.
yeah.
So
Well, let's just say I don't think any of them are the high-speed special ops community sort that some of the prepper communities we have around here
right,
are pretty high speed.
correct, correct. Yeah,
I'm finding out that some of the ones around me are really high speed. So
yes,
so
I imagine so.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
was on my bike ride the
Hey,
other
that's a
day.
good way to go.
I was on my
Yeah.
bike ride the other day, and I was tooling out in the backwoods on a pretty bleak highway. We'll say it that way. You know, like not a lot out there. And I'm pedaling by, and I see this house. You know, solar panels everywhere, bunker going in, no electric lines going to the house. And I'm like, those folks got it going on over there, man. Like you could tell
Did
you
you
could
do
tell
one of
just
those mark
location,
wait?
location. Yeah. Yeah. No, but
Just
it was
in case
really
you want to sell some brownie cookies or whatever. Yeah, Girl
right.
Scout cookies,
Right. Yes, yes. You need to sell some communist cookies. That's right.
or or
Um,
or whatever the Civil Air Patrol's calling themselves these days.
easy now. Easy now. Easy now.
Got you
They were
midway.
they were they were schlepping Chick-fil-A this week, man. Their fundraiser was at Chick-fil-A this week.
Oh,
So.
jealousy,
Yeah,
absolute
buddy.
jealousy.
Oh, it was good too, man. It was good. Give me an excuse. Give me an excuse to go eat some Jesus chicken.
Yeah, yeah, man.
I
So,
mean,
yeah, what else
just
is
to
going
rub it
on?
in.
I'm watching lead time. Go ahead.
No, I
I'll
was
give
just
you a
saying,
moment.
just to rub it in. I could go to Sonic for lunch and Chick-fil-A for dinner. I mean, I'm not going to, but I could. It just and then just wreck
Well,
your whole deal.
I could go to a Sonic. I think we have 2 now, maybe
Oh,
3. So we have Sonic,
okay.
and I now can. I think there's still only one because the other one is a location, but we do have Krispy Kreme, so
Which
we're not that far away. If
neither
we
of
get
us eat stuff like that. So
there,
like that, you can have it all day long.
well, the thing for me is I drive by Krispy Kreme probably no more than twice a year at most, and so I definitely will go devour a dozen Krispy Kreme glaze and sleep very well,
If it's once a
like
year, I
instantly
think
because
you're
it's
okay.
food. Oh yeah,
Everything
once
in
a year.
moderation, including moderation, right?
In fact, I think over the last 3 years that we've had that opportunity, there's only been one time that the hot now was illuminated. So if it's not hot now, I'm not stopping.
Right, right. Why bother? Why bother? I mean, why put the calories in if they're
No
not
reason.
warm?
No, if it's
So
either perfect or it's not.
there you go.
Yeah, and lately, if we're going by, it's in something that's over 40 feet long, so it's near impossible to do it either.
Sure, 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 sure.
So
So I think there's
anyway, yeah. So we were talking about last week. We were imploring people that there's a couple of things that are going to be for different reasons more and more difficult to get because
yes,
um, either they are companies that have DoD contracts or government contracts, or they're busy selling to very important people that are protecting us, like the post office, and fish and game,
right.
and other like worthless idiots getting
Uh, yeah,
totally
other agencies
militarized.
that we definitely need to be well armed, of course.
So, what they're doing is those agencies have a lot more money than us because they consider all of our money to be theirs, and they like to spend our money on things that they don't have a mandate to do.
Right.
Um, and so, these companies have choices to make, and some companies make good decisions. They're willing to stand up with a backbone, and business or refuse to comply,
Right.
but that's not the majority of companies. And companies like Magpul, they will sell out. Smith and Wesson has historically sold out a lot. Who's the other one? Remington did a long time ago. Of course, Colt forever ago sold
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Colt would not sell M60 or AR-15s to civilians. I couldn't buy a Colt. It was really hard to get. So there are a company, another one out there, Daniel Defense, some of the higher end AR, they will in 2 seconds stop civilian sales because their military contract or DoD contract are so large that if they get
Absolutely.
shut off through it, that
Hmm.
they're just gone. They're done as a
Yep.
company. So, and in these new contracts that are getting written are clauses that says that the government can tell you as a contractor who you can buy and sell things to and what you
Yes.
can buy and sell to. And more things are finding their way to that list. So, another really good company, been around for a long time. Galls, if you've been in the military or the law enforcement and fire communities, Galls has been your go-to
Hmm.
for 30, 40 years.
Yep.
I mean, I was buying stuff from Galls 25, 30 years ago,
Hmm.
when I was doing the firefighter game. And certainly as we've spooled up, both of us in the law enforcement chaplain world, we've spent a lot of money at Galls, but Galls
Yes.
will not sell you lots of
Yep.
unless you have not just ID anymore, but department letterhead.
That's
And
right.
it's not because they're illegal; they
No.
just won't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of moving away from Galls more and more. I mean, the last set of
It's
the
true.
undercover body armor stuff that I got, they only sold to me because I had ID. They
Yeah.
wouldn't sell it to me otherwise.
Well, and I just got
There's
word on
nothing
my
illegal about it.
Free State Homestead, my other channel. I have a video from way back. Do pastors and teachers need body armor? Is a video from a couple of years ago, and I recently got a comment
Uh-huh.
like just a few days ago. I got a comment from a pastor that was like, hey, any ideas on where I can get covert body armor? Because I mean, Safe Life is a good option for it, but if they're back ordered out
Point,
for like a
Point Blank,
year.
I think Point Blank's kind of been at the top of that game, I think, right?
Point blank,
For
point blank.
the
I
undercover
should
hidden stuff.
I should go back and actually I forgot about Point Blank and
Check
but
them
yeah,
out.
you can't
Check on Point Blank 'cause, I think that's what my gear is.
but you
But
can't
yeah,
get
no,
on you can't
a
get like
certified
Safariland
LA police gear calls. They won't.
like
Safariland, same. They won't
my under uniforms, like covert body armor, you can't buy that
covert
anymore. Like
stuff. Yeah.
that's something you can't get
Soft armor, we
because
call it.
Safariland only sells to law enforcement distributors, and most of those law enforcement distributors have been pressured by the government to stop selling to civilians because ultimately they want
Well,
to
and let's
make
be
body
honest,
armor illegal.
I actually don't believe that it was the government when it comes to LA police gear and galls. I think it was departments. I think there's enough departments working against the citizenry at this point.
Well, that's
I
what I mean
mean,
by
Galls
government.
is based out of
They
Washington.
are the government. Yeah.
So you're right. They are government. But it's state and city level as opposed to the feds. Not that the
Correct.
feds are free from this,
Yeah.
but I think they actually bowed down at the more local level, which is what's upsetting to me because for a long time we've been saying, support your sheriff, support your local city, and we're not saying that,
No.
but there are a lot of those departments that have been gutted by terrorist organizations like BLM, and
Yep.
they made their way into school boards and city councils, and they gutted the police force, and they're nothing but political hires. um, and there's a lot of departments these days that are really not good places,
Yeah.
and they've become the things that they um, that they were accused of being. So
Yeah.
self-fulfilling prophecy, just like every Democrat that cries racism is because they themselves are quite racist.
Of
It's
course.
very similar, and we just saw that happen in Memphis, right? Memphis, where they just killed that man, and
Yep.
essentially those were three well-known gang members who
Yep.
got onto the police force through an affirmative action type policy. Couple of them actually had prior felonies and had been denied jobs before, and the city came in and hired them outside of the department and then told the academy that they could not be washed out. So
Right.
again, in places like Portland and Memphis and Chicago, you have the police force that you wanted. You've hired a bunch of thugs that are going to go around and kill people. So congratulations on your defund the police.
Yep.
Good job.
That's right.
Well done.
That's right.
Your good people have left, and none of us feel sorry anymore.
That's exactly right. Hey, I just
So
realized that
there's
I didn't have the comment window open, so I wanted to throw a shout out to our friend Meg. She said,
yes, ma'am.
"Happy Friday! Thanks for
Meg,
doing what you
we
do.
were
You
talking.
guys motivate me to work toward preps every week. Both me and my fam. Thank you," she said, and then she also said, and that's her awesome dog Maverick. There, he's a pretty rad dog. She's talked about him on the show before, so I don't feel like I'm outing her. And then Half marathon prep in the works and lower mileage done with weight vest. Fave kind of prep. Good job, Meg. Right on. Way to go, yo. Way
Yo.
to go.
Yeah, weight vests are a great way to get ready for kit. So depending on where you live, if you're running some high speed ceramic plates, like those have a life to them. You really don't want to beat them around.
Correct.
You don't want to take the life out of them. You don't wear them out. So
Right. Right.
save them for when you need them. Get an older vest, and rather than having to reinvent the wheel, and do other things, you can just vest. And if you're wondering how much to put in there, I would start with 60 pounds, or I don't want to say start, end up at 60 pounds, so that
Well,
when you put your full kit on,
I
it'll
would
be
say
about
weigh
60.
your kit. Weigh your kit. So what are your plates and your mags and your IFAK? What is
Old
that way?
mags,
Start with that.
soft mags. Don't forget the Skittles and gummy bears.
Yeah.
Get your radio in there. I just switched
Water.
radios recently, and my
Water.
new radio is 2 pounds or something.
Whew.
Fill your camel pack, even if you don't normally run with it. Those Harris radios are really heavy. So
Really.
Yeah, that's all right. It'll be worth it because the bands that are on that radio are incredible. With the right antenna, you can hit them all. So
Yeah,
it's a good way to go.
that's good.
Stick with Baofangs if you can. There's some good newer Baofangs out too, and people have now discovered that there's a combination of buttons you can press on the new Baofangs to kind of unlock them.
Yeah.
So
UV5R
or maybe
Yep.
Google it, maybe Brave it.
So the UV5R you can get on Amazon. They're absolutely Chinesium. They're not robust. If you bump them too hard, they're going to die. But they're a good place to start. They're better than nothing. They're cheap. And what's really, really great about them is they are amateur band ham radios, and there is a button combination. So for those of you who don't understand, the government said a few years back that you could not have a radio that has GMRS frequencies and the ability to broadcast on both GMRS and on amateur band radios. So the UV5R was the you take that feature out. They only software locked it.
Yeah.
And so deprogrammed it, and it is very, very easy. Check out a channel called Not a Rubicon. Very, very smart guy, and he'll teach you in 3 seconds. He will teach you how to unlock your UV5R to be able to broadcast on GMRS and ham bands, and they are wonderful.
Yeah, no, good channel. I agree. Check that out. So the other thing they did is they also changed the antennas to make it a little bit more difficult. So you may have to replace the antenna. And the reality is there is no such thing as a do-all single antenna.
Right.
You need to figure out what band you go for. I have a lot of antennas, and you pick the one that you need for the time. And then, if we can ever get on some secure comm pages, we can talk a lot more about that stuff. But we'll have to kind of be superficial here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But you
can. But yeah, the whole do you need a ham license? There's a lot of frequencies that you can legally do. The FRS frequencies are basically the old school CB. There's a citizens band, FRS, low power, and they work for 90% of people what you need to do.
Yeah.
There's like 10 or 12 of those that you can use channels.
Mm-hmm.
The GMRS are very easy to do, and you can transmit with more power. And the GMRS is, you just need to be a business that can articulate a need. And then I think it's $15 for 5 years to apply for a license. So GMRS is really not that difficult to get into legally.
And you don't even have to be a business anymore.
As you'll find out,
you don't even have to be a business anymore. You can just be a person. But I would highly recommend stay off of every registry that you can stay off of. There has been one person.
I recommend against getting the ham license.
Yeah, don't get the ham license. You can listen to ham without a license. You are supposed to have a ham license to hit the button. But until 2 weeks ago, no one's talked about this. until 2 weeks ago, when the Biden administration finally dropped the state of emergency because of the coronavirus, you were legally allowed to broadcast on ham frequencies because during a state of emergency,
We were in
that law is suspended.
I didn't think about that. That's really funny. I should have been messing with more people.
Well,
So yeah, if you've ever heard of
hams hated that. They were so pissed.
Oh yeah, yeah. I bet.
And
hams I have
will
probably only met one or two hams that aren't absolute floods.
Hams will 100%, like they do more to keep people from being hams than, I mean, they are just the crotchetiest old bastards you will ever possibly run around with.
Yeah, they're almost as bad as the Vietnam crowd at the VFW.
I can't speak really toward that. But
so but yeah, so getting radios and getting antennas and having plans and getting your communications set up, those are all things you need to be doing now. Getting your body armor set up, getting your high capacity magazines, we've been saying,
standard
depending, and I'm not necessarily talking, well, you can buy all standard capacity magazines you want. I'm talking about buying stuff that's way more than 30 rounds. Get stuff that is more than what the gun came with. I'm talking true high capacity, as in higher than it was initially offered, because there are a lot of things. So I bought some Lancer. That's it right there. And they make a nice extended battery that goes on there.
They do
add some length to the bottom of it.
Yep.
That'll last for weeks.
Yep.
And you can, so again, I don't want to get into comm practice too much. Those things come capable of transmitting at 5 watts. You 99.9% of the time never need 5 watts.
8 watts.
It's not just because you legally can't do it.
They're 8.
So there you go, 8 watts. They probably still can't do 8. I don't think a handheld radio is even capable of doing 8. I don't believe they could. Somebody show me the meter. China says lots of things to sell stuff, because we as Americans are better than 30-inch tires. And I'm guilty of that as well.
Sure.
COM-O operations is use the minimum power required to achieve the mission. If you are communicating with somebody that is a quarter mile down a trail line of sight, you don't even need 1 watt.
Correct.
Use the minimum power. And there's lots of reasons for that.
There's your extended battery.
We could get into there. That's the one. So yeah, I like the extended battery, and that is still half the size of the stupid Harris thing that I've got. And not even half the weight. So great solution for your whole team, but one person should have a radio that can reach out and touch to other things. I want to be able to talk to airplanes. I want to be able to talk to boats.
Right.
I want to be able to talk on multiple frequencies. I want to be able to, change some antennas around and grab some bars radio.
Right.
There's lots of reasons. And again, I hope we can have a secure enough place to talk about that someday, but it won't ever be on the platform we're broadcasting on right now.
No.
So head down that road. Have fun with that rabbit trail, but get that stuff now, because you're not going to be able to get it soon. And that's what we're really saying. So, if you're all sighted in like me, running ACOGs that think you're shooting green tip all the time, this is going to be, you're coming down to the wire here on your last opportunity to buy green tip.
Correct.
They've attempted it multiple times. They will succeed in removing that ammunition.
They will.
Stock up now.
That's exactly right. Because the green tips will go through the blue helmets.
Sure. I don't shoot helmets, I shoot dicks. So
well, there's that.
I just want, when I'm shooting that dick from 200 or 300 yards away, I want my bullet drop reticle to be properly calibrated. And that's why I shoot green tip.
There you go.
Because that's what the hash marks and the sight are set up for.
Okay.
So anyway, shoot them in the dick. That's important. Get your
Right.
higher than standard capacity magazines now.
Yep.
If you want to buy standard capacity, maybe now's a good time.
Yep.
I like Lancer mags right now.
Oh,
So 2
Lancers are
mags
great.
for
They're
the AR
great.
platform that I
Yep.
support. Lancer with steel tips, steel lips.
Mhm.
I recently discovered some kind of expensive base plates that turn their steel lipped 30 round mag into a 36 round mag.
Yes.
And I really like a lot.
That's
So
very, very
for
nice.
5.56, I'm running 36 round Lancers. And for Blackout, I'm still running the Daniel Defense 32 rounders.
And I got to tell you, I
So
think that as far as a standard, like we say, standard capacity mag, the Daniel Defense, they are wonderful. They're great. They're great. You're gonna pay for them.
they're
They're
top of
gonna
the
be more
game.
expensive than your standard mag pull
They're
that you
not
can
steel lip,
buy. They're not steel lip, but I mean,
but they
you know,
will. They're not steel lip, but I can load from clips
mhm.
quite easily. They will take
Yes.
clips and spoons.
Yep.
They work well. They don't require fitting. I have had numerous PMags of all generations fail.
Mhm.
I'm not throwing any of my PMags away,
Mhm.
but they're not my go-to mag. And the reality is, Daniel Defense is maybe $2 more. Lancer, if you buy them on sale, is less than a
Yeah.
PMag.
Yeah.
I just saw 30 round steel lip Lancers on sale for $8.99 each yesterday.
Wow.
Get them now. Get them now. Get them now.
You might have to
Now,
send me a
me
link.
being in Alaska, fact that it was a flash sale yesterday.
Ah,
So,
bummer.
but the
Okay.
point is, maybe regular prices like
Bummer.
another $1 or $2. So, I'm just tired of having to tell public school educated people that Alaska is in the continental United States. So I know that
Wait.
this is a frustrating concept to a lot of people who don't understand what continents are, but Alaska is like a third of the North American continent. I understand, and it's possible that they just don't know how to spell contiguous
Hmm.
because, again, public school.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
if you screw that up, if you on your website say that you ship free shipping to continental United States, I will publicly ridicule you when you refuse to ship to me or come back and try to charge me more
Yes. Yes. I agree.
because you're stupid.
I agree.
You're stupid.
Well, hey, that's our hour, you
Obviously, you're a
guys.
Biden voter.
We really, really appreciate you guys always watching and hanging out with us. Meg, thanks for commenting. We love it when we get comments from you guys.
Yeah.
We know that we've had a bunch of
Next
people
week we're back
watching.
pre-recording.
Yep, yep. We'll be, and we usually we record a day earlier, so you're still getting up to date news and things like that. So I think that just recapping what we talked about tonight, med gear, commo, those are kind of our items of the week. And
Body
magazines,
armor,
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 armor, armor,
ar-
armor, armor.
armor.
Yeah. So
So you're going to be
um,
armor, which includes helmets and gas
mhm.
masks. We didn't talk about
We
gas
talked about those
masks.
last week. We need
I'm
to
not
we need
talking
to
about P100 BLM respirators. Get
we need to
real
we
gas
need
masks.
to can you
The
bring some
term you're
show
looking
and tell for
for is
next week?
CBRNE. CBRNE. Maybe.
Okay.
CBRNE. CBRNE.
Yep.
Or is there
Okay.
any? CBRN.
Right
CBRNE
on.
is what you're looking for. That's the rating.
All right. Well, guys, we love you. We hope that you're paying attention. We hope that you're listening. Listen, we love you, but you need to get prepped.
Yeah, if it's not too late.
All right, you guys. Have a great night. We really appreciate you. As soon as I find that man, we're slick. We're slick tonight. We got that looking for that outro. Here we go.